Good morning to all. A very warm welcome to the launch of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Before going ahead with the launch, I would like to take a minute to share with my friends here on what is Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan translates to Clean India Mission, is the biggest ever cleanliness and sanitation drive in the country, announced by our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, in his Independence Day address to the nation. The vision that drives this mission is a clean India by 2019, when the nation will celebrate 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. I would like to conclude this brief intro by quoting a message by our Honorable President of India, Mr. Mukherjee. He said, "I call upon every Indian to do his or her utmost to make a success of the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan launched by the government to ensure hygiene, waste management and sanitation across the country." Now, I invite our Honorable Dean Administration, Professor S. Raghunath sir, to formally launch the Swachh Abhiyan program by lighting the lamp.
ಹಚ್ಚೇವು ಕನ್ನಡದ ದೀಪ ಹಚ್ಚೇವು ಕನ್ನಡದ ದೀಪ ಕರುನಾಡ ದೀಪ ಸಿರಿನುಡಿಯ ದೀಪ ಒಲವೆತ್ತಿ ತೋರುವ ದೀಪ.
Thank you, sir. Now, I formally invite our Dean Admin to share his thoughts on Swachh Bharat Abhiyan.
First of all, congratulations to all of you. I am completely floored by your presence. I was wanting to actually, I was asking CAO, how many will be there? And I'm amazed at the level of participation. Congratulations to all of you. This is indeed a very rare occasion, and I must share a very personal thought on this. I had the opportunity of watching the Independence Day speech only on YouTube, so I couldn't, I was busy. And I was amazed at the confidence of the Prime Minister of the country to have the courage to say that addressing cleanliness, seeking the cooperations of citizens to build toilets is indeed a very, very brave note of confidence about the country and what we have to do. And I say this with a lot of emotion because I think as Indians, we have never had the courage to speak the truth. We have always been worried about what the world will think about us. How do we align ourselves? We are always taught perceptions, right? Branding is all about how do you manage perceptions. But never have we thought about the integrity of branding within ourselves. And I must say that this is an amazing campaign. Amazing not because all of you are present, but it is because we have confidence to address issues. And I think cleanliness, in my view, I have had the opportunity of serving as Dean Administration, which means that you start with toilets. So, no, I'm serious. I think one of the first things that we did was to improve toilets in our campus. One of the first things we did. And the reason why cleanliness is very important is because cleanliness is not a simple matter. Now, all of us think that it's a menial job. Everybody thinks when you say clean, it's about a broom. Now, you are all students of management. Do you think cleanliness is such a simple matter? What do you think? Now, you'll obviously say no. But why is it not a simple matter? It is a very complicated issue. I'll tell you why it is. It is actually a very large project management problem. All of you learn operations. We all know vision and mission. But we don't understand no vision, no mission translates as our country is facing. Now, we all talk about brilliance at individual levels, right? We are brilliant Indians, starting from Satya Nadella sitting in Microsoft and several others. But as a collectivity, we have failed. Do we agree or not? I mean, if we try to add our brilliance, as a collective, we have not been able to perform. I think Clean India campaign is the first ever national challenge as to how our collective intellect, managerial abilities of not just collecting and eliminating waste, but looking at each part of that what we call as value chain, right? how do we manage a chain from concept to completion? I think this has been a big issue in this country, and we want to see whether we, as great managers, can start with illiterate people who cannot read or write, and I can promise you they understand and have better common sense than many of us, including me. How can we mobilize this entire country, which has a very complex strata, to deliver a national statement? And 2019, in my view, is a huge challenge. Is a huge challenge. And if we make this happen, I think it is a great tribute to ourselves. And like our Indian team, we should actually take out our T-shirts and throw it up in the air and say, it's a world-class achievement if we manage a country like this. We as brilliant managers should deliver this very simple thing, right? We will have Professor Gopal Naik and very erudite members of the panel telling us how to do zero waste. So, that's one thing which I want to listen to. How we will deliver this, and if we do this not just for our campus, but wherever you go, I think you must make it a mission like a citizen, saying that we must promote this. And the day you do that, I think we don't do it for our Prime Minister alone. It's not just because the Prime Minister. But I think it is one important message that as a collective we can perform. Not as individuals. Individually we do very well. So wish you all the very best. I wish myself the very best. And hope we have a great campaign. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We, the IMB community, have planned a set of activities over next 1 month as part of this program. Now, I would like to invite Tushar Bhagrava, a PGP2 student and Secretary of Environment and Sustainability Club at IMB, to present us the details of all the activities planned.
A very good morning to everyone. So, as sir has rightfully said, that it is not about the activities that you do, but you have to look at the value chain that is going on in the entire cleanliness activity to become a better manager in managing these activities. So we have a small presentation on what we as students have done and what we plan to do as a part of this campaign in the next month. So our presentation goes from Swachh Bharat to Swachh IMB. So this is a brief about our club, that what we do. It's basically a small society that we run here to act as facilitator for students to pursue their interest in clean and green environment. So skipping this, I'll go at what we had done in past 1 year to maintain a clean environment, as our Prime Minister rightfully said. This is some photos of a clean drive that we did last year as a part of Joy Giving Week. We adopted the lane that is outside IIM Bangalore, and there was 30-40 student volunteers who went outside and cleaned the entire lane. And as you could see, a lot of garbage was collected there, and it was a very successful drive, and we maintained to keep it clean. And we wish to do it again this year. Regarding waste segregation effort, so you have seen there are a lot of dustbins on the campus, but nobody actually uses them in the right way. So like green are for food waste and red are for plastic, paper and other waste. So during our fest, Vista and Eximius, we have tried to build a sense among students that which dustbin to use when, because this is one of the major problems that we are facing. We have also worked with Sahas, Divya is coordinating with IMB, and she has told us that inside student hostel there is 90% waste that is unsegregated. And if you go to the segregation unit at the end of the IMB, you would see how much effort they put in to make this on a sustainable basis. So we have put up the posters on the dustbins inside the campus during Eximius and Vista to actually educate people that where you have to put what. And we hope to extend it further. Another is food wastage. Now, although it's a Clean India campaign, but food wastage is one of the prominent issues that come for Clean and Green India. So what we had done this time is, we had put up this poster, as you could see, regarding food wastage, and it had a very positive effect among students. As you can see in the chart given below, from week 1 to 4, food wastage was reduced from 800 to 490 kgs. And then we had planned with an NGO called Child Fund Association. Now the food that is being left over, because it's not getting wasted, now this food is going to an orphanage, Child Fund Association, and it's serving 70 children per day. So this is one of the biggest achievements that we have had here. Also, to make the campus clean and green, we have various drives for tree plantation and green gifts. You can see Ms. Kiran Bedi herself planted a tree last year, and we had students run activities for maintaining the environment clean and green. And also, as sir had rightly said, we don't have to do it physically. We have to look at the value chain and we have to come up with the ideas as managers. So we had run competitions called Ideate and Smart City in our fest to invite ideas from all over the country to how to make this environment clean and green. So this Ideate was basically a challenge in which we asked for cleaner energies that can be used in India to reduce the pollution. And Smart City was an innovative solution to come up with a clean and green city. So we had a participation from all over India and IMB as well, and it was very successful. So what we plan to do in the next 1 month is, first is adopt the lane. As you could see from the photographs, the lane outside IMB is not very clean and it's not very hygienic. So we have planned to do a cleanliness drive again, which is scheduled tomorrow. So what we plan to do is clean the entire lane. The footpath is very uneven. Nobody uses the footpath. So to make the footpath even for pedestrians, and a lot of water cloggage is there, because of which there are a lot of insects are there. So we plan to root out the weeds from there. It will be a total student-run initiative, and we have talked to maintenance department regarding this, and we are planning to do it tomorrow. Another is waste segregation. So this is another thing that is being told to us, and we have seen that there is so much waste. Students, although it's a very clean campus, but apart from that, there is a lot of unsegregated things. So we have done an audit, and we have seen that there is a little mismatch in the number of bins, green and red, so because of which students are not sometimes being able to segregate waste according to them. So as per our discussion with CEO sir, we have ordered few more dustbins, in which it will be a similar number of dustbins for green and clean. And also we are planning to put up e-waste dustbins, which will be put in old blocks and new blocks, so that students can particularly segregate the waste there. Another initiative is paper waste reduction. So we have seen that there is a lot of paper waste that is being generated, and so we have decided to bring out a mandate for double-side printing and reducing the font size, so that paper can be the paper usage can be reduced. So we have been assurance from our CEO that this will be done this month as well. The next initiative is environmental pledge. There will be a pledge taken by each student, which is planned for on 4th of October, in which they will pledge to make this to keep the environment clean and green. And we have similar pledge taken last year, and there was a very positive outcome of this pledge. So we plan to repeat this event again this time. And the last thing is student idea competition. So we'll have an inside IMB competition, which will ask students to come up with ideas to make the environment clean and green inside campus and outside campus. And we'll see how these ideas can be implemented within the month or even later, because this is like, it's a one month activity, but we plan to continue it further for the coming year ahead. These are some of the initiatives that we have planned for this year. Thank you. We look forward for your support from student and staff as well. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Tushar, for nicely presenting the wonderful set of initiatives. Now, as the saying says, cleanliness is next only to godliness. So let us take a pledge on this day to convert cleanliness into a national passion. To assist us, now I invite Mr. Srikanth Nikade, a PGP2 student, to go ahead with the pledge. I request everyone to stand up and take the pledge, please.
Thank you all. I'll start the pledge. You please repeat after me. As a responsible human being, I hereby take a pledge to do my bit to contribute to the environment. I pledge to restrict the use of paper and plastic waste. Instead, strive to use washable utensils. To throw waste in appropriate waste collection bins. To turn off water tap when I am not using it. Not to waste food. To turn off lights and fans when I leave a room. Finally, I pledge to live in harmony with the environment through thoughtful consumption of resources and reduction in undue wastage. Thank you.
Thank you, Srikanth, and thank you, one and all. Now, we'll move on to the last and important activity of the today's launch, that is panel discussion on how to make IMB a zero-waste campus. So now we have a very diversified and eminent panelist here to discuss on this topic. Now I invite Mr. Achitra, is an engineer by training, So he has conceptualized Bin Bang, NSRCL's new incubator, and adds an element of fun in the waste disposal mechanism by organizing personal and institutional events where e-waste can be exchanged for gifts and coupons in real time. Now I request him to come onto the dais. Next, we have Shobha Raghavan, who is a lead technical and business development Sahas Waste Management Private Limited, will speak of work done so far on IMB campus and identify areas that needed sustained focus. Next, we have our FPM student, Levin Shiva Malai, in the information systems area, and he's studying the usage of open source software in government departments. He is an environment enthusiast and has been actively pursuing initiatives for campus cleanliness. He likes indoor games like bridge and enjoys outdoor activities like running. He came across this George Carlin quote and wonders if this is actually the truth. The earth probably sees plastic as just another one of its children, could be the only reason the earth allowed us to be spawned from its first place. It wanted plastic for itself, didn't know how to make it, needed us. Could be the answer to our age-old egocentric philosophical question, where are we here? I invite him to come onto the dais. Next panelist, Mr. Shivakumar. He is an assistant engineer from IMB's estate department, will outline us the IMB's initiative so far. He is the key man behind Sea-Waste Treatment Plan initiative in IMB. Now we have our professor, Mr. Gopal Nayak. He is professor at Center for Public Policy Management Program. He is an agricultural economist whose area of interest are agricultural policy and agribusiness. He has worked at the World Bank and University of Illinois, from where he holds a PhD in agricultural economics. He has received many awards like Award for Professional Excellence from the American Agricultural Economics Association, an Outstanding PhD Dissertation Award, Best Students Research Paper Award, etc. He is currently working on commodity markets, quality standards information, and development and public service delivery. Now he is the moderator for the today's panel discussion. I formally invite sir to please come on to the dais and moderate the event.
If you actually do whatever you have pledged, we can actually achieve the zero waste, on campus. There is nothing else we could, that needs to be done in order to achieve the zero waste. Actually, the students have put up a very nice pledge, and we hope that, all of you will go by the pledge. Well, we did a study on solid waste management in Bangalore. This was a year study looking at, what are the key problems in managing waste in Bangalore. We found that, there are very simple solutions. So if you are able to achieve segregation. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. Segregation of wet waste and dry waste. If you are able to achieve 100% segregation, if not 100%, at least 90-95% segregation in the city, we will be actually managing our solid waste within the city. We don't have to dump it in Mandur. Many of you must have heard about Mandur village. The kinds of problems they are going through. In terms of water pollution, air pollution, different kinds of diseases and so on, right? So we are, essentially what we are doing is we are dumping all our waste in these villages, Mavallipuram, Mandur and so on, and we are making their life really hell, right? So therefore, the question is, how do we behave in a responsible way so that, we can actually, manage the waste that we create, so that we don't have to have this negative externality on the society. Okay, so that's the key question. And zero waste management essentially says that, so you don't create waste and take it outside and dump it somewhere else. Okay, so in fact, when we were doing this study, we talked to a contractor who actually transports these And what he was saying is, 2 decades ago, there was no problem of garbage waste disposal in Bangalore. Most of the wet waste used to go to, feeding pigs or composting, and the dry waste were all recycled, like, paper, plastics, and so on. So there was no problem at all. It's only during the last 2 decades we have been having this problem. If you don't segregate, then the wet waste and the plastic creates really a hell. And that is very difficult to handle, and that leads to all kinds of problems that we are actually facing today. Okay, so therefore, if you look at waste handling, segregation is one of the most important issue that we could talk about. If you do segregation, we can actually dispose of waste at individual level, at household level itself. In fact, we have looked at some solutions where we could actually do composting at the household level, right? It can be done at the community level, like what we are doing here. Many initiatives Professor Raghunath and others have been taking in terms of compost pits and really segregating this waste and making it into compost. So that's very much possible at the community level, if not at the individual level, so that you need not send anything outside the campus except for few things which you will not be able to handle. But then those are again segregated enough that they can be handled effectively. For example, plastics, if they are clean and neat, and somebody can take it and recycle it and so on. So it should be reusable or recycled, dry waste, which can be handled by many other people. In fact, when we did this study in Bangalore, we found that as far as the dry waste is concerned, there is a market for all of them. Market for paper, plastic, and whatever you see dry waste, there is a market for it. It's only the wet waste. If it is segregated waste, there is a market for wet waste also. People buy it, either for feeding their animals or for composting. Okay, so therefore, if you just mix it up, then it creates really a big externality, negative externality for the society. So it is there, where we need to really act upon and see what we can do, in order to come up with a model where we do not become a burden on the society. Okay, so we have excellent panelists. I'm sure they are going to share their ideas, and of course, you all will have interesting ideas how to ensure that at the household level, at the community level, we will ensure that not much of a waste is actually going out of, especially wet waste should not be going out. It's only a few things like plastic and so on we may not be able to handle here, but there is a market for it which can be reused and recycled and so on, which is not a problem if you send it outside. So think about what are the key actions that we would like to perform in the coming years, so that we can come up with a model, evolve a model soon, where many other campuses like ours can actually see it and learn from us. Of course, we may also have to learn from others as well. Okay, so request our panelists to talk about their experience briefly, and then let's have a discussion on what are the key steps that we need to take in order to ensure that there is zero waste on our campus.
Hi, good morning. My name is Achitra. I'm the founder of BinBag. It's an incubator at NSRCL. We are exactly a day old at NSRCL. Quickly, let me give you a brief intro of what BinBag does. We are targeting individual household e-waste to reach the authorized recyclers. If you see the e-waste that is being generated in India, that's about 1 million metric tons annually. About 15% comes from individual households, and we are trying to target this individual generated e-waste to reach the authorized recyclers, because the current method of disposing it through kabadi walas goes to the landfills, and I am sure you all know what happens to that. Just to give you a perspective on what the proposal that I'm planning for IIM Bangalore, Berkeley has a similar plan where there are disposable bins across the hostel blocks, residential areas. In FY 12-13, they collected about 220 tons of waste, e-waste and metals, and they have a revenue share arrangement with the campus, where a dedicated department handles all the e-waste and metals, which goes to the recyclers, and the revenue that is being generated is shared with the campus. This is something that I am planning for the IMB. So in all the hostel blocks, we can have a disposal, e-waste disposal bins, and as you have already mentioned, you are already planning, so that's a good thing for me because that reduces my cost. So yeah, so this e-disposal bins, I have already tied up with an authorized recycler based out of Bangalore who actually handles my logistics, and they also had bins which were self-locking, where you can put in but you can't take it out. But since you would already be having an e-waste disposal bins, what we can do is based on the volume that is being generated in the campus on a weekly or a fortnightly basis, we can ship it to those authorized recyclers. Since, as I said, I'm a day old, I don't have much data on what is being generated in the campus. Maybe in this month of October, we'll try to do a pilot and see, get the data enough, and from November onwards, we can start this process. And since our whole concept is of having fun, and that's how we do it, just to give you a quick background, we do personal events like birthdays where guests can bring in their old e-waste, and that would be converted in real time into a gift coupon, which you can give it to the host. The host, instead of getting similar stuff, 10, 15 similar stuff, like when I did my son's birthday, everybody brought in a remote control cars because he's a 3-year-old kid and you think that that's what you'd like. But let's say what if I want to give my son a Lego block, and I can't ask somebody a Lego block, that may cost me $2,000. So if I say that, why don't you bring in your old e-waste also, which will be converted into a gift coupon? Say, I'm speaking now, I'm talking to Flipkart and Coupon Dunia to tie up with them for the coupons. So I'll give them the coupons in a real-time basis, and that coupons get, the host gets it in a pooled money, he buys the gift that he wants. So something similar we did with an NGO also in Kanakpura Road, where my school alumni had brought in the old e-waste, and we converted into notebooks, crayons, pen, paper, pencils, including doing their supporting their breakfast for a day. I mean, it's very cheap. I'll tell you, 50 people, we had breakfast for 2,000 rupees only. And they had fun, they did dance and programs. So it's all, you can make this e-waste disposal or the whole waste disposal process of fun, and it need not be very serious and friction thing that I come and appeal to your social conscience, come and there, why don't you come and dispose it there? So that's the whole concept that I'm trying to bring in by making it a little fun. So as a hostel thing, so what we can do is on a monthly basis, the hostel which gives the maximum e-waste can be given a trophy, which runs it for a year, and the hostel which wins it the maximum time then can be given a coupon or any gift that by the time which people can give in their ideas at what is it that the hostel can get. And from an individual basis, the guy who disposes the maximum on a monthly basis will again be given a gift in terms of a Flipkart or any coupon that you feel can be useful to you. So that guy may be called Mr. Green, and this is again a magic pot story from my kid's book, and we can do something like that for the individual collection also. So that's a quick proposal from my side, and so I look forward for everyone's participation, and thank you.
Good morning, I'm Shobha from Sahas. Sahas is a waste management company. We are an NGO and private limited. We are a social enterprise working with waste for the last 13 years in Bangalore. I do not know how many of you know Sahas has been associated with waste in IIMB. How many of you know that Sahas has been associated with waste in IIMB? Okay, so we have been doing a waste management in IIMB for the past 5 years. While our respected Prime Minister has launched this program today and visions that in the next 5 years he is looking for a clean India, we are already having a head start that we started 5 years back at IIMB. Of course, we have got a long way to go. While we have a wonderful state-of-art waste management unit that is going to get inaugurated shortly, I would like to say that segregation at source, like what Professor Gopal mentioned, is a point of concern for us at IIMB. Like one of your student counselors was saying that he wanted to adopt a mile outside IIMB. My request would be to have the students split up and adopt corridors, blocks, departments within IIMB. If you can do that, you will get wonderful segregated waste at source. It all lies in your hands. We have a wonderful system to process the waste, but if you can only manage to ensure that it is well segregated, and if all of you divide the work among yourselves, the work is going to be very easy. So that would be the simplest thing to do. So when you're going to do this in-house, then you can show the world that yes, you have not only having a waste management facility, you're also having segregation at source. Today you have been talking about events in IIMB like Vista, where you're trying to make a zero waste event. Instead of doing it on an event day, we should have it every day. Every day you should have segregation at source. And if each of you takes responsibility of looking at the residents, at the apartment blocks, then it becomes very easy. So that would be my first action point for you all in your main agenda. And if we can target this as 1 month or 2 months from now, we will be seeing a huge difference in the waste at IIMB. So this is the first issue I would like to address over here. The second issue is the quantum of waste. While we'll have to do it phase-wise, we cannot attack the problem totally. Phase 1 is for you all to look at segregation at source. Phase 2 is to look at reduction of waste. While you have already started about your paper printing, we would also like to look at other places, your canteens, your hostels, for not using paper cups, plastic cups, and disposables. We would like them to use utensils. So we would like to do a study on that to see how much of waste could be reduced really at actuals. This would be the second target for IIMB. Having known the waste of IIMB for 5 years, we would like to focus on these 2 areas. And if this is done, I'm sure we can show not only Bannerghatta Road, not only Bangalore, not only Karnataka, not only India, the entire world, that IIMB is managing their waste well by segregating at source, and have also looked at removing all disposables from all points of generation. So this will be a real success for IIMB. This is the ground reality of IIMB today. Yes, we have a head start and we have a wonderful facility to work. You're working with an NGO which is going to be helping you out on this, but let us focus on this to make it perfect. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but we have to look at making it perfect and request your help on this particular concern. So Mr. Anil will give you details of the new facility that we have. Sorry, Mr. Shivakumar. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Shobha. In continuation to the details given by Shobha about the infrastructure which you have put up in the campus is the waste management plant. It's a unique building which we have constructed in consultation with Sahas. Eco-friendly building with all the stone walls, natural ventilation, central courtyard, where you have the greenery, flowers, everything, which the workers also can have a change while they are working. And the machineries which we have put there is, one is the organic waste converter, which is a pulverizer. The food waste which is collected from the campus gets pulverized and we mix it with the leaf waste. The leaf waste is also shredded in the machine into small pieces and get mixed with the food waste, and then it goes to the composite pits and gets converted as manure. And we also have a chopper machine which cuts all the tree branches, big branches, into small pieces, and again it is converted into manure. And the other thing is the segregation of recyclable material like papers, plastics and all, which is sent for recycling outside. And I have, as a maintenance engineer, I have few things to tell, especially in the hostels. I get into all corners of the building. I see these shampoo packets being cut, used and thrown out of the windows in the toilets. And that comes down to the shaft. It not only blocks our drainage system, but also it becomes a major challenge for cleaning. The shafts are very small. Housekeeping people cannot go there, and gets into the chambers, blocks, and that is one challenge we are facing. I request the students to control that. See, there are tissue papers kept for drying your hands, and there is a bin in the corner to throw it out. So, most of the time I see the paper is thrown outside, it is lying on the floor, or the paper which is used for drying the hand is thrown into the commode, where that doesn't get dissolved and it chokes the whole line. So these are the two challenges which we are facing, and I request the community to adhere to the way it is to be used.
Good morning. My name is Levin. I am a FPM student here. So being an FPM student for many years, don't ask me how many years, so I have been seeing some patterns as to how as students in the hostels we contribute to a lot of waste. And so, and being an IM student, we are trying to use data and like kind of put some ballpark estimates and see how all this translates. So that's what I'm going to do here. So first, coming to paper usage, it's not just printing. I just want all of us to rethink the whole the system, the education over here. So every year, let's take, there are like around 1,000 students every time on campus, like PGPs, FPMs, PGSM. It must be 1,100, but let's take 1,000 for simple calculations. And let's say 10 courses every year. Now for each of the 10 courses, we use kind of 500 pages of material, including textbooks. Textbooks and handouts and all that, and printouts, we land up at least using 500 pages of material. That translates to around 75 lakh pages every year. And normal Googling, just simple Googling says that one well-grown tree, like 60 feet tree, which is 1 foot in diameter, which is used for making pulp, contributes to say 10,000 pages. That is like almost every year we are like kind of using around 50 trees. I'm just saying the ballpark, it could be more. So every year we just use up 50 trees worth of paper, and these trees don't grow in 1 year, right? 60-foot trees with 1 foot diameter, they don't grow up in 1 year, they take our lifetime. So I'm just trying to give you a perspective of how much paper we consume. So what do we do about this? Now, one thing is I find that at the end of every term or probably the end of every year, like lot of textbooks are just discarded, which means we probably don't see the need of the textbook beyond that course. The reason is there's a lot of information available, we have a lot of access to information, internet, YouTube videos, Coursera courses and all that. And from an exam point of view, we probably stick to the presentations which the faculty distribute. So my thing is like, why do we need to give textbooks in the first place? Why can't we give some soft copies or give a lot of links to resources rather than give a textbook because it has to be given? And another thing is just go back to our undergrad days. I think we had this habit of handing over books at least to our juniors rather than buying new books. Where did all those habits go? Okay, let's say you do have all the books. Why do we throw it away and not have a system where we can collect all the books and the next year give it to the next batch of students? So what is the need to go in for new books? Point one. So this is that is regarding books and paper. And even paper, a lot of faculty now have moved to agreeing on e-submissions, like soft copies and all that. You don't have to take printouts. So we should work on those. That is about paper. Now coming to water. Now the sewage treatment plant has been set up with a capacity of 600 kiloliters per day, out of which around 250 kiloliters are being used. Now another back of the envelope calculation, assume there are like 1,500 residents on campus, including faculty and all that. And generally the runoff, like after having a bath, flushing, utensils and washing, it's like about 100 liters a day, typical consumption. That still translates to about 150 kiloliters a day, but 250 kiloliters is being processed, which means the remaining 100 or whatever it's less wastage. So what is, from student point of view, I noticed one source of wastage. Generally in the toilets we find that sometimes the flushes don't work. If you just observe, you will come across some constant water running. One is the plumbing in the taps, that's a difficult thing. You need to register a complaint, ask the plumber to come, otherwise it's going to be difficult. We can't remove the taps and do the threading. But another thing is the flush. See, the flush system, first even I am wondering, I was a little skeptical, how do I handle this? But it's actually very simple. So one day, just to overcome this, you just open the lid and I just try to see, what's wrong. So generally these flush systems are like three types. One is a knob system, where there's just a lever that you push the knob, this thing lifts the pipe and the water flows out. Another thing is the thread system, you just like, you pull the knob and the whole thing comes up with it. And third is like, the automatic, semi-automatic, the full flush, half flush. They're basically again two knobs on two different spring systems. So all you need to do is this: if you're really concerned and you find the water running off, you don't have to register any complaint. Just open the lid, it just needs a little tap, a little push, and the system is working fine in the next minute. Now the best thing is, after you do something like this, you'll actually feel happy, like as if you solved a problem. You don't have to think about engineering skills, nothing. It's just a little tap, a little concern, and in 1 minute you can save a lot of water. How much water runs away? That flush tank is like 6 liter capacity in general, and 10 liters, okay. So, and let's say it takes around 5 minutes to fill up, or that's like nearly saying like 100 liters an hour, and that's like 2 kiloliters run away from a tank just every day. So that is the extent to which just a little effort, small effort from us, you can save a lot of water. Again, it was mentioned about electricity usage and all. Then another thing with the bathrooms. Some bathrooms in the older hostels, it's like all the switches are at one place. You have no clue which switch switches on, which light and all that. Fine, we'll switch on everything in pat. But the thing is, while leaving, why don't we switch all of them off? This is a question we need to ask ourselves. I thought probably because of, if it was a better design system, it will be better. But look at the newer hostel blocks, there are individual switches to each compartment, but still the lights are still left on if you look at it. Again, it's something of habitual, right? Probably you can recollect all your parents, mom, dad saying switch off the light, fan and all that. So you just need to think about it. It's very simple. You go in, you switch on something, just switch it off, that's it. It doesn't, you can switch on everything, but switch off everything at the same time. It's like, I think we are all in a rush. I don't know what rush we are in. It's that 1 minute is not going to increase the GDP of the country, anything like that, I don't know, whatever we talk about. So and then coming to the idea of paper cups, previously in the mess, even for tea, coffee, they used to give steel tumblers, and but now we have moved to the paper cup system, just for convenience. We take the paper cup and move along. It takes a minute or two to consume a cup of coffee. I don't know, we can just take that minute out, sit there with our friends, have a chat and move on. But I think making some progress towards it. For example, today during Twaran run in the morning, they removed the paper cups out of it, they had only steel tumblers. So if you want to drink water or electrol and all that, we had to use a steel tumbler. So I think we can, maybe there is some sort of awareness about this and probably we'll move towards those systems. And again, having water in your room, I request you to buy steel jugs. Like Bilekali and all the places, you have those, the old steel thing. Jug costs 200, 300 and you can use it forever. Rather than, and of course hostel has good drinking water facilities, right? The systems are checked frequently and all that, so you need not worry about going in for this. And as ma'am also pointed out, so taking charge of hostel, like our Prime Minister said every person spend 2 hours a week. I would suggest a small activity. These are activities that I do. So you, at least once in a while, you clean your own room. Don't call all Jayama, Ravi or anyone. Just you clean your room. You sweep it, you scrub it clean. It takes like max half an hour. And then why I ask you to do this is, you suddenly have awareness about what you're consuming. You suddenly find, oh, why did I buy so much plastic paper, or why am I throwing all these things over here and all that. So once you have that awareness, the next time you're going to buy something, it'll be at the back of your mind. So that's why I urge you, just use that thing to just clean your room once in a while rather than calling someone. And we need to get over this attitude we have that there's someone always behind us to clean up. There is no one. Let's assume that there's no one behind us to clean up. You have something, throw it into a dustbin. Even I think even before we go to segregation, we find that, I mean, if you look around, you find all the paper cups, plastic bottles just thrown around. We don't even put it into a dustbin, forget segregating them. So, you know, because of that assumption that there's always somebody behind us to clean up. I mean, already the people in the hostel are overworked. They have new hostels and you must talk to them. You know, once in a while if you talk to them, you'll know what problems they go through. So these are the small things you do. It's good for yourself, good for everybody around you. So yeah, I think these are the few things I wanted to raise and to just throw some perspective as to what we can do from the hostels in general. Thank you.
One is, the key issue is segregation. In fact, when we did our study in Bangalore, we found that in some wards, the segregation is to the extent of 90% in Malleshwaram, whereas on our campus it is 60%. So we need to really do something about that. Segregation is very, I think 60%, is that correct? Yeah, 60. Malleshwaram, they have a resident welfare association which is very active, and some of the voluntary agencies and others, they are really working with the resident welfare association to ensure that there is a good segregation taking place. And city level it's about 40%, though this is at the primary collection level, but secondary collection level it reduces to about 28%. But being on campus and campus with all the educated people, we would expect to have close to 100% segregation. I think that's something we really have to pay attention, because without segregation, either we are making somebody else to segregate our waste, which is inhuman, or we are going to dump this waste somewhere which is not usable or is going to create problem for others. So that is something we need to see how we can actually achieve that 100% segregation. Okay. Second one is reduction. Reduction, I think the society, the club is already trying to do some things about reduction of paper use and so on, paper cups. There are also other issues like these multi-layered plastics, especially food packets and so on. They come in multi-layered plastic, which are very difficult to handle, and they create a lot of problem in the in the waste disposal. So therefore, one way to address that is try to sort of influence the policymakers to come up with what is known as the extended producer responsibility. That means they should be take the responsibility of collecting this package back, like recycling bottles and so on, which is there around the world. So that's one way of doing it, which means that all of us will have to put pressure on somebody or help them to get this piece of legislation passed, or maybe at least some government order is passed. Second one is probably if there is enough awareness created, hopefully many people would start reducing their usage. Wherever they see these multi-layered plastics, the way people could actually reduce that wastage. Okay. Then of course awareness about use of dustbins. That's another issue, and we can talk about it. Then of course, along with the multi-layered plastic, there's also this thermocol. Thermocol is also very difficult to handle. There are some technologies now they are developing in order to compress it into very small size, but otherwise it's difficult to handle. Like paper cups and so on we are talking about. Then course material, it's excellent suggestion. I think we should really think about whether we need to give books or not. Is there some way of reusing the textbook? Maybe students can manage this. So you have a cell, or maybe environmental club itself can take care of as long as Dean gives some space for them to
I just have to say something.
Yeah.
Yes, the idea of this textbook, all of you understand. Actually it's a value add textbook which is a used textbook. You know the reason? You already have annotated for the benefit of the next guy. So actually those textbooks are more valuable than the new ones. I don't know whether you understand this. You will understand this. So whoever gets it, you can actually have a royalty deal with that guy. So the boss, I've given you stuff. And I guess we are not, see, any foreign university that they do that all the time. I don't know why we don't do it. They always put the used textbooks back and it is sold at about 40% of the price or whatever. Then they give it away in charity. We don't do this. So I guess you guys, you please lead this initiative. You're still here, right? Okay. So
Even
kindly
the
do that.
bookshop, you can take the help of bookshop actually.
No, our bookshop fellow may not cooperate. He'll have some commercial law and all that. So the best thing is you have a student thing there, right? So do it. And as I said, it's annotated value-added material. So encourage that. You started it, is it?
Very good.
No, but have you positioned it this way? That is the point. That's what you have to tell them. Sell hard and they will buy it. Sorry, yeah.
Okay, on wastewater treatment you want.
Yeah. See, this water treatment, I just wanted to kind of add a little bit to what he said. The idea of the water treatment is not to use the entire thing. We are having a very green campus and we are very glad to use it. So it is our water, recycled. But the important thing is, as our NGOs will tell us, Bangalore water table is a big concern. And we are actually recharging groundwater with the water we recycle, which is a very, very important function we are performing, and it's not wasted. It is actually doing that function. We also have rainwater harvesting, rooftop ones. Yes, we got 15 points, which we actually use again. That water is being used. So we have a lot of initiatives. And we have natural lighting. We have now outdoor benches. So you guys don't sit inside your rooms, come and sit outside. It's Wi-Fi connected. So you can sit anywhere, provided it's not raining. Right? Sorry, yeah.
Okay, so and as far as e-waste is concerned, you already have a solution. So maybe we can take each one of these issues. If there are any other issues, we can also take it up. If you find apart from this anything additional that you think we should be discussing. Yeah.
Professor, I handle hostel new blocks, and we at the hostel have been taking some new drives also. Just to add to this, the food waste problems, one of the other things which we are not noticing is that students and most of them, when they use their food, like as in especially when they order food from outside, so they eat in their rooms. And or they get it from the mess. Say, supposing they get the plate and they eat the food and they keep it outside the room. Yeah. What's happening apart from the other things that we are trying to manage, that is getting it back to the mess, etc., is that there are a lot of flies. Currently, we are having a lot of other problems like dengue and various other diseases that are running around apart from the viral fevers. So this is also one of the measures that we are trying to take over there in the hostel, and which will try and reduce. So that will be a great help if the students can take on this responsibility. The other thing is that in the new block we have the balcony. Balcony is meant to do various other research or to sit and get the air. But apart from all these things, recently in the new blocks we have observed that there is a rodent problem. That is, we had a vendor who did a research. The rodents have actually attacked the infrastructure. It has gone below 5 feet, according to him, which is actually a very, very damaging thing to the building. So what he said was that, to urge the students not to keep the books. Books are kept outside the rooms, which is near the balcony, where it is easy for the rodents to get in. And you can see in the new blocks, if you come over, that there are enough and more rodents. Right now, currently we have been done about 50%, and we have spent about nearly 1.5 to 1.75 lakhs on this drive. However, if we join hands and try and see that it doesn't again repeat. So these are the smaller things that the students can also contribute and make sure that it is good to reduce the biohabitants also. I mean, why are we attacking them? If we are right in our own usage, then we don't have to do that. So that would be my 2 points to add. Thank you.
So there's some serious education program has to be initiated. with respect to various, not only reducing the waste, but also how do you handle waste. Okay. So shall we take one by one? Segregation, how do we achieve 100%?
I'm audible, right? Yeah. So what I was thinking is the kind of waste we have is like the plastic, papers, and the Tetra packs.
Yeah.
So the basic consumption is the beverages. So I was just thinking, like operations, they say you delay the assembly. That is the packaging and the product. So you make the product and you consume there itself. There is no need for packaging, right? So what I was thinking is, yeah, we do have some options like Amul and everything, but there also the procedure is you go there and you buy a pre-packaged food. Why don't we encourage like producing something? I know there is sandwich and everything, and Abope has something, fine. But the beverages kind of thing. So that is the basic thing. Like we install the Coke machines as I saw. Again, they are again the pre-packaged. So there is a waste which is generated. So apart from the carbon dioxide which is delivered again for transferring, I was just thinking, why don't we have like make it there, consume it there?
Yeah, in some cases it may be possible, like of course water and maybe juice, but beyond that, becomes not that we say that you should take extreme inconvenience to reduce waste, but there are many initiatives that one can take which we can reduce substantially.
That kind of doubts are always there with the packaged food also, right? With the kind of news we are getting over, you just Google, we find all sorts of things in packaged
Sure,
food also.
I
So
think maybe easier one, let us do it first, and then we'll get into the more complex and difficult ones. Yeah. Which question? Segregation. Yeah, no, we are it's
Okay,
still on.
Okay, the segregation, I feel like if everyone does their bit of job, like, as Levin was rightly pointing, there is someone behind me. If we lose that and stay to that pledge,
No, but
that's
what
the
are the
easiest way.
actionable points? What should we do from today to maybe next 1 month
If
or
people
2
are
months?
If people are not doing voluntarily, there should be someone with a stick behind them. That's all I can see.
Stick won't help. Sticks are difficult to use. Segregation, I think your experience may be very useful because.
So adding to what he said, while consumerism is driving our economy today, okay, so we can't be an extremist in this world. What I would say is at least let us ban products like Lays. I'm not against any company over here, but that particular product which is coming packed in laminates, which is that multi-layer laminate, can at least be banned in the campus. You can identify and see, we can do a study, what are the products whose packaging cannot be recycled. Okay, that doesn't mean you go outside the campus and have a Lays or a Kurkure. Okay, but what we're saying is if you can identify, I'm sure this is recyclable. So today we want safe drinking water. So I'm sure you have a lot of foreign guests coming in and he might not want an AquaGuard water or water in a steel tumbler. But what I would say, this is completely recyclable today. So we have a solution for recycling here. But in those packets which are not recyclable, at least we can decide to remove those off the campus.
I think we can start with identifying what are those
material, or we can involve the company, like Pepsi can say, if he say yes, he wants his product on the campus, then once a 1 ton or a 10 ton gets accumulated, if he agrees to come and take it from your campus for recycling, then that will also be an okay solution.
That's basically that producer,
the
producer
EPR,
responsibility.
the APR, yeah.
No, but I'm still wanting all of us, including yourself, to tell us. I liked what Professor Gopal Nayak said. This Malaysia has got how much?
90%.
90%.
We want 95%.
We want 100.
That's
They've
fine.
already started.
That's fine.
So
No. Let me see 95 first. First, let me see 95. We have been doing this now for more than 2 years.
5 years. Yeah.
No. We are pushing. We, in the sense, everybody who is part of our system is pushing hard. It is not happening. So I want, yourself included, to tell us what next do we do. I understand all this about Lays and all that.
Yeah.
But I am talking about waste.
Right.
So please tell us, what can we do to make sure segregation happens at source?
Right. So there are two things. One is it should be part of your handbook. So all the children, all the students who are coming here, it should be part of their handbook that segregation at source is a must. First thing. Second thing, it should be a policy level implementation. And the third thing, immediately that we can start is each of us can commit to take charge of our own corridors. Let us commit. That's the simplest way of solving the problem. That is how we do in the high-rise apartments. There are apartments that are 25 floors, and there are 3,500 to 4,000 households. And there is no way a small committee or a small volunteer or a small association or a small property management team can handle 4,000 people. So we have made corridor level monitors. They are the inspectors for that particular corridor or floor. If you break down the problem, we see a solution immediately. And if, let's say, in a corridor of your hostel, I'm not aware of your geography, but let's say you have 10 rooms, you know. So if today it's my turn to look after the corridor and talk to all the students of that corridor, after a week, it rotates. So the next room person takes charge. Then the third week. So everyone is responsible, everyone gets committed, everyone gets involved. So we cannot just have one student team over there and driving the whole message ahead. So each of us, for example, in your chambers, if you take charge for 1 week, your other team members can take charge the next week. So that way, each of us can discuss problems and come out with more ideas. Once you get into the problem, your ideas come out. Once you're staying away from the problem, oh, it's not mine, it's not my job, let someone else is in charge. I have not put my name as a volunteer. That's not the way it works. Each of us on the campus has to commit to this. And we have to take turns. So that's the only way we can make IIMB segregate waste at source. Similarly, even in the residential campus, we can have an in charge for each row of houses that you have there. So they are also part of...
Where are you finding most problems, you know, in the...
I would say everywhere there's a problem, everywhere. And the main problem we see is the common bins kept in the residential area. You have the concrete bins kept over there. It's very easy to take a bag and throw it into that. My servant has packed the garbage and thrown it. That's not what we want. We want you to keep the garbage at your doorstep. So it's easy to identify the defaulter. If I take it and walk along the street and throw it in the bin, I don't even know that I am the one who's a defaulter. So let it be at the doorstep. Let your waste picker pick it from the doorstep. If it is not segregated, we are not picking it up. As simple as that. We have to remove the common bins, which is very convenient to take a bag and throw. And also I've heard of the dog menace on the concrete, on the common bins. All that will also go off. Similarly, your hostel, your MDC, they're all places where a lot of guests come, but what I see missing is a big poster saying we segregate at source. It is compulsory. I don't see any awareness or sensitizing piece anywhere. In fact, when we enter the lobby of IIMB, I would like to see a big poster saying, life-size poster, that we segregate at source. We are a zero waste campus, 2014 end or 2015. So that will hit. You have pictures of all the students who have graduated. That's a very proud thing. It's also a bigger proud event would be to say I segregate at source. That message goes all over. So every key area, every corridor, every block, every department should have that poster. That's the first thing a person should see when he enters a block. So I think these are very simple things. It's not complicated. It's not rocket science. If you put up these posters and have the monitors in place, ask them to take charge, ask them to report to some committee or volunteer team, I think we will, and it's a daily job. It's not a weekly, monthly, and it doesn't go with a photo session of this panel. It has to happen every day, 365 days. It's as tough as that. Please understand that. And as you all graduate and go, whichever corporate you go, I'm sure you have to be part of that sustainability team and say, yes, I did it in IIMB. I know how to do it in your corporate. That's how you need to take the message. When you go back to your apartment or your house, you need to continue the same process over there. That's the only way we are going to drive it down into every child. Your own family, your children, your wife, they're all part of a network. Go and communicate to them. But first, let's practice it in-house first. Let's see if let's have a target of 1 month. Is 1 month difficult? Is 1 month difficult to get started and get all this in place? Let's have just handmade posters. Then we'll look at more permanent fixtures. Let's not talk about budget now at all. Let's talk about handmade. Each of you take a charge of making a handmade poster on your corridor. So we should have some team that's driving it. That's the main thing. But everyone is at the same time responsible. I've met CEO so many times and he says the hostel is still having a problem. I don't understand why CEO has to tell the hostel is having a problem. Every hostelite should be responsible. We're all part of a very premium institute. So I would request that is the solution. It's a very simple solution for all of us to get involved and get this sorted out. Yeah.
Okay, let's take one by one. Removing common bins. Is it possible? Is it Shivkumar? Yeah, yeah. Removing common bin is not easy. Yeah. Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah. Yeah.
Perspective is obviously important enough, but wouldn't that work if you don't have would that work if you don't have the infrastructure in place? For instance, as you pointed out, in our hostel blocks, in the old hostel blocks, we have one bin where you have to put it, so there's no point of segregation there. If we keep our garbage outside our doors, then obviously we have a problem of dogs, rodents, or whatever. You cannot anticipate the timing on when you have to put it out, and you might have other clashing conflicts at that time. So you cannot specifically say, the garbage collection happens at 9:30, so let me put the segregated waste outside my door at 9:30. So how do you solve the problem without looking at the infrastructure first?
The what infrastructure?
No, I'm saying let's start off with putting out different bins for recyclable and non-recyclable materials in the hostels first, before saying that let us start changing the mindset. Let us start putting out
Separate bins are
posters.
available, right?
Not in my hostel
Not in
block. I can
hostel.
just show you the pictures. Yeah.
Okay, that may be something which we may. Huh? Yeah. Separate bins is, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and coordinators, is it possible to have floor coordinators or hostel block coordinators and so on to ensure you're thinking? Okay, that's good. Yeah, that would be good. Residents, you'll have to do something.
What she is saying is true. You have to have visibility and some pride. See, all this is not about doing it. There has to be pride. It has to be fun, as he says. We should do something like that.
Let's say, for example, Sankal. So, which is that reduction of power system. So, it has started by HMC. So, each and every door we have pasted that sticker. So, everyone while leaving the room, they started turning off the lights and fans. And I think we have reduced a lot of power. You can clearly visible in power bills, I guess. So and similarly, we have started that book collection drive and sending it to the next batch. And also next week we are coming up with the Joy of Giving week, so which Vikasna is doing that. So like that, some or other way, or a lot of students from many clubs and not, even participants who are not in clubs also, they are.
He has asked for infrastructure, so we have to provide that bins which can segregate.
Sure, sir. That's what. So already discussion with CEO has happened, and CEO has approved that plan also. So we are going to put different bins at hostel blocks also now to segregate the waste accordingly. And regarding this block coordinators, this is what we are thinking for some time. So we'll just formulate it and how we go ahead with. We'll discuss among our student members and we'll come back to with a proper plan regarding that.
Okay. Anything about e-waste you want to add, or?
I'll add one point.
Yeah.
You see what Madam has brought it out about the big posters and all that. In this beginning of this year, I have printed lot of posters, and which were designed by a professional, and we have distributed to each house, to each room. But what happens, the impact of these posters are not, if we don't educate ourselves and sensitize the others. it has got an impact for hours or 1 day or 2 hours, and at that poster itself, whatever we have distributed becomes itself a waste. What I spoke today to a one person, because we were coming into the discussion and all that, I said, what is the answer for getting everyone educated on that? So he says, don't adopt a mile, adopt another person. Adopt another person. Keep a watch, you change yourself, and keep watch on others. One person you say, I'll watch him. If he throws a paper, he doesn't segregate the way, I am going to educate him that don't do this, do not do this. And this is, I found it's a very, very good. Initially, I think we have a lot of advertisement on this. Somebody throws a paper or somebody throws some waste. Some scooterist comes, picks it up and throws back in his car. All those are to to give a message to everyone that let us become self-disciplined ourselves. So bins and all that, sir, we assure we have a plenty of them, but they are dislocated and we will give it to them. That we will do that. We will do that. That's a very good suggestion and we will have that. Thank you, sir.
And coordinators at the residential area, somebody, children. Yeah, maybe children is a good thing. Yeah. Yeah. And maybe there should be an activity to bring sort of awareness among the campus residents, especially the children, in terms of what are the ill effects of these multi-layered plastics and so on, so that they are also sensitized with respect to this, as well as segregation, I think.
Sir, to add to your point, we have started a new campaign called Green Champions, in which every week we identify one person who is having a very green habit, like not wasting food or using recyclable paper or any other activity that is related to clean and green activity, and we publicize that person's activity through mails and Facebook. So this is kind of awareness creation that we are doing right now on campus. So as a reply to his question.
So you may have some volunteers from the residences.
Yeah, so we choose volunteers from our staff, from our students, from faculty or from our FPM students who are there, and then we recognize their efforts and we put it through Facebook and mail to appreciate them.
That's good. So how many of you are very active in our sports areas? So what you do, you catch hold of the children who come to play, because they play with you. You tell them that, you educate them, you say, this is very important. Then ask them where are they staying. Then you plot the streets where they are. Then as professor is saying, we can easily motivate them to become monitors. They like all this. Monitor means they understand. They have had the effects of being monitored in the classes, right? So they will like to do that. So they will come and do. And elders also would like to, indulge children, so they will start doing whatever they're not doing. So it's a nice way of doing it. Instead of asking volunteers from NGOs to do that, that doesn't work. This will work.
Yeah.
That we can invite the student team and the children living on campus to have a waste trail.
Yeah.
It starts at 7 in the morning, if you know, that there's a collection from across IIMB and it goes to the dump yard. It would be nice to understand that waste trail, which is about 3 to 4 hours, and you will also know where the mixing of waste is happening. Rather than saying hostel, MDC, residence, departments, let us go on that waste trail to study and make a note. Then you have specific points to focus on. Then you will realize what is the situation at the backyard of IIMB. Okay, so we can have one Sunday when everyone is free, have the children involved, have you all involved, and run through this whole system to have clarity of what we are all discussing over here today. Yeah, thank you.
That's a good idea.
Sir, I would like to add, as mentioned by Shobha, with the initiative of the facility manager, in MDC we have a mini segregation plant. So there are 4 compartments where biodegradable, non-biodegradable, recyclable and non-recyclable waste is segregated, and then it gets into the main plant, because huge amount of waste gets segregated in MDC itself. So that is already in working condition.
Hello. Yeah. about the mindset and self-discipline that we are talking about. I just add one small, simple but strong message that I saw with one of the companies that I was advising about a few years back. The CEO had put a poster in the toilet saying a human being cleans it. Yeah, so I mean, as you were saying, you know, when you see and when you see those kind of messages, then that itself brings a lot of self-discipline and mindset change. So when you know that a human being cleans it, whether it is the toilet or in this case the waste, you will start appreciating the fact that no, it needs to be properly segregated. Yeah, thanks.
Good. Okay, thank you very much. This is just the beginning of our discussion and actions. Let me just summarize the action points. One is, of course, we need a good awareness drive. So, which would also, you know, include posters as well as waste trade. I think that's a very good idea. Maybe you can organize one Sunday or so where all of us can actually, come, right? Apart from that, you know, awareness with respect to reduction in wastage, use of dustbins, especially I think maybe in MDC also we should do something. And also awareness about the difficult to handle materials, you know, especially something like multi-layered plastics and so on. Then infrastructure is something which I'm sure administration will be very happy to provide. Recycling of books, which they have already planned, floor coordinators, and also appointing some children as coordinators in residential areas. Yeah, I guess these are the, they already have a green campaign or green champion. Okay. So I think these are some of the actionable points, and we hope that you will take the lead. We will all follow, you know. I'm sure that many other faculty members will also be interested in helping you out, and of course administration will be very supportive.
Last question from a student.
Yeah.
What you have said,
yeah.
As Shubham said, it should be the fun activity which will give learning to the children along with the students and the administration.
So that will be creativity should come from them.
So from us,
making it a fun trail. Yeah.
So it should be a fun activity which will imbibe the learnings in the children. So it should not be the teaching class for them that the cleaning has to be done and it has to be done, this has to be done. So it has to be a fun activity which will, so we will come up with the solution from our side only.
Good, great. So thank you.
Hey, you guys are all very creative here. Think about anything which makes a great campaign. I don't know, you remember that TV ad which was about a cable company, Havells? You remember that? You know why everybody remembers? Because somebody was so thoughtful to evoke a response. And all of you are very capable guys, very creative minds. Employ that, and somebody should collect all this. You will do that? Can they send it to you? Send all the ideas to Professor Gopal Naik, posters, you know, this fun activity, what should go into it, construct that. That itself is a lot of work, you know, it's not just, you can't just do it. So do that, and we will reassemble after 30 days. Very good. In the same classroom.
Sir, we have already started this activity. We can coordinate with Sir Professor. Like we have already started floating a form asking students for their initiatives and their ideas for this month, and then we can definitely contact. Creative stuff. Creative stuff, yeah.
Okay, since there are a lot of management heads here, I was thinking along with this waste trail, as we were just discussing, we can have a small case study on the logistics. Okay, I'm not saying because we are running the, CEO and I are almost meeting every month, and there is a logistics problem. Starting at 7 a.m. in the morning, collecting the waste and moving, there's some issue. So we'd like you as management students to help us sort this logistic problem. It could be a good case study for each one of you. And yeah. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
And if it becomes implementable, then we should honor, award.
Yeah. Okay, so we can have that also as a study and as competition rather. And let's make it fun, competitive, and we'll have some snacks also. Some Tetra packs that are recyclable, some non-disposables, everything. Let's make fun and let's see how this could be happening. Let's leave this Sunday and let's target 2 Sundays from now. Let's have a target, otherwise we will just be talking over here. Yeah? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Professor. So, thank you one and all for being the wonderful audience today. So, it was very enriching discussion so far and many ideas has come up. So, I request everyone to your sincere effort to go ahead with the program and to be part of the program, not just for 1 month, throughout your life. Thank you one and all.